Good morning. I'm rested, and I got up and I was looking at an article on NHL.com, and I thought, you know what, this is funny. So yesterday, the Hockey News publishes their predictions of who's going to win the awards. Mark Giordano wins the Norris Trophy. NHL.com held a poll from their own staff. Morgan Rielly is going to win the Norris Trophy. Now, if I put it out to the channel, I guarantee we would have a widely varied response. And really, this kind of shows how parity isn't just among teams, it's among players as well. Back in the 80s, you would have 3 or 4, maybe 5 guys who were really fantastic defensemen. Now, there's a lot of guys who could make an argument, I should be the Norris Trophy winner. Almost to the I broke the dam part of things. Almost to the I broke the dam level. Almost. Now, your leading scorer in NHL defenseman is Brent Burns. 7 goals, 40 assists. He will get consideration as the leading scorer because how we measure defensemen is broken. I've talked about this before. It's nothing new. I'm not saying anything scandalous. The fact that they're defensemen whose prime job isn't just generating the offense, but making sure that goals don't go in at the other end, I think looking at points and going, he's the best defenseman, I think is kind of flawed. But then again, you could make the argument that saying that a guy who wins your scoring title, pointing at him right now, that'd be Kucherov, and saying that's the best guy in the league, that can be flawed as well because of defensive reasons, right? So you can kind of make that argument with a lot of things. And until we have a Rod Langway trophy, this is where we are. Where instead of measuring best offensive defenseman and best defensive defenseman, we measure the best overall, and the flash and dash are going to get votes. Thus, Brent Burns. Though he's a +5, he's played 24 minutes and 15 seconds per game. His numbers aren't bad. The plus-minus is better than it was last year. Last year I talked about Burns and I thought he had a shot. His plus-minus sank him. Plus-minus is a stat that doesn't matter until somebody thinks it does. Basically, if a guy's got a really bad plus-minus, all of a sudden it matters. If a guy's a really good plus-minus, all of a sudden it matters. Unless you really like or really don't like the player, in which case it doesn't matter. Morgan Rielly, 13 goals, 32 assists, 45 points. I think with Rielly, and I'm being honest here, what holds him back for me is he plays 22 minutes and 26 seconds per game. He is well below everybody else on the chart other than Keith Yandle, though Yandle plays 22:44. Now, the plus 26 for Rielly is impressive, but what makes me go, there's something to that, is that he plays 2 minutes and 20 seconds less per game than Mark Giordano. He has more points than Giordano, but playing that amount of that much less time, does that mean he's playing less in key situations than Giordano and Burns? And does that mean that Giordano's plus 30 with that amount of time played is more impressive than Rielly's plus 26 with 22-26 played? And right now, people who are advanced stats are going insane because I keep mentioning plus-minus. But this is how they vote. This is how the people who are in charge vote. NHL.com themselves trucked out Rielly's points and his plus-minus as reasons they were voting the way they were. So this is the system. Like I said, it's broken. I'm not acknowledging anything that I haven't before. Now, for Caps fans, they're going to say, what about John Carlson? And they have a point. Carlson has played more ice time than Giordano, Rielly, and Burns. He has almost as many points. He has 39. He's a plus 22. I have a bad feeling Carlson gets squeezed out. Again. Shabbat, his plus-minus of -3. He hasn't played enough. He has his ice time's 23:52. The thing is, his ice time's still higher than Rielly's. And these are things they consider. And then you get into Carlson. Carlson's been coming on like crazy. 3 goals, 35 assists, 38 points for him. He's a +3, which hurts. His ice time, though, 24:53. He's actually getting more ice time than Brent Burns in San Jose. That surprises me a little bit. Although it seems like every time I turn the game on, Carlson's the one that's out there. And you can't miss Carlson when he's on the ice. Between the pirate mustache and the long hair, you can't miss him. Letang, I guess it's not pirate. It's more of a Three Musketeers mustache, but it's weird because he's the only musketeer. So one for me and me for all. Letang, 10 goals, 27 assists, 37 points. Pittsburgh fans are going to point out that he's having an excellent season. He's a plus 12 on a team that has struggled defensively at times. He's at 26 minutes and 1 second. He has played the most time of anybody who's in the top 8. And I stopped at 8. I was going to go further, and I thought, no, we're going to stop at 8. And then there's some interesting guys on this side of the board, because the argument isn't that simple. Now, Keith Yandel is going to be disqualified because he's a -9. And this is where Florida fans say, well, wait a minute. Florida's been a bad team. Yep. But that plus-minus means he'll be disqualified from consideration for voting for that trophy. And the plus-minus combined with his ice time, and then the fact that he's behind these other guys on points, means that he won't be considered for the Norris Trophy. In all likelihood, he might get some third-place votes. I could see if Denny Potvin has a vote, he'll vote for Yandel. But overall, I think Yandel gets squeezed out. Now, if we look at ice time, Drew Doughty still leads the way at 26-37, but he doesn't have the points, which he never has, the points of your leaders like Burns, but he's also at a -13. And while Doughty has been an absolute horse for the Kings, and he's a consummate professional, I don't think he's going to end up in the consideration or getting consideration for the Norris this season. Ryan Suter, 26 minutes and 27 seconds per game. Seth Jones, 26 minutes, 14 seconds per game. He's a +5. He has 25 points, so he's not putting up the same amount of points. He did miss some games. Those points could end up coming out, and for all we know, he could end up getting back into the conversation. And then there's the guys who aren't on either of these, which is Roman Josi, Matthias Ekholm, Victor Hedman, Josh Morrissey, and Ryan McDonough, who people are going to mention. Now, of the names on that list, Hedman's the one that interests me because of the fact that he usually has a monster second half of the season. Ekholm has been fantastic. Matthias Ekholm has likely been the most important defenseman on the Nashville Predators so far. But he's behind Josi in points. He's going to be behind Subban in points. Subban and Josi would steal votes from him. I didn't even put Ellis up because then you've got Josi, Ekholm, Subban, Ellis. All four of them could end up generating votes. There are numbers you look at with Ryan Ellis that make you say, yeah, he deserves to be in there. If we had a Rod Langway Award for Best Defensive Defenseman, Ellis could be a front runner every year. But when we look at the system the way we have it, it is going to cheat towards the guy with the most points. I don't think Riley wins it based on play so far. I do have a feeling that Giordano could win it. Now, if Giordano were to win it and not go to the All-Star game, that would be kind of humorous. But as we've been seeing, there was another player came out today and said, I'm not playing. Or last night said he wasn't playing in the All-Star game, who's Carey Price. But there's going to be guys who say, thanks, but no thanks. And so I think Giordano would be happier with the Norris Trophy than he would with playing in the All-Star game. And again, Carlson and Hedman could get in there. It's going to be tricky because I think of all of the trophies they give out, I think this one might be the most crowded. I honestly do. I think this one might be the most crowded. Other than the Hart. And where the Hart gets tricky is that Tampa has so many guys you could say, well, he should be. And then by definition, it all falls apart for Tampa because no one piece seems to be more important than others. When one cools off, the other one, they're kind of like Hydra. You cut one head off and two heads take its place. So there you go. And I'm all aware there are defensemen that are not on this board who can end up getting into the Hart Trophy conversation. It is that crowded. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just tapped upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching.